Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a time warp or going round in endless circles? Well, I do today because there's been a report about the behaviour of Greater Manchester Police and the fact that they allowed young rape victims to be raped and raped and raped again and again. For the pure fact that Labour wanted to continue to pursue a multicultural policy, and any honesty about these horrific crimes might just alert the wider public that this multiculturalism isn't necessarily going as flawlessly as our political class would like us to believe. Keeping the borders open is always the priority. And if white girls were being raped, well, so be it. It's a price the political class are willing to pay. Now, does anyone think for so much as a second that if white men, organised gangs of white men, were raping non-white girls, and not, let's be clear as well about something else, this was torture. Some of the things that happened to these girls, it's indescribable. I won't even say it on here because it's just too harrowing. But I will say, as I've said before, if what was done to those young girls, if that was done to detained jihadis and Guantanamo Bay, then the human rights brigades all over the world would be up in arms about it. Don't look away from the race element of this. Those girls were allowed, this situation was allowed to continue. Those girls were raped and raped and raped because those girls are white. And everyone knows if they weren't white, this would have been cracked down on quickly and swiftly by our political class. But here we are, all this time later. This is what politicians do. They set up an inquiry. A scandal breaks and they set up an inquiry, spending untold pounds to tell us what we already knew, that the police did nothing. Now, Andy Burnham, the mayor of Manchester, who is Labour, by the way, said girls were failed. Oh, you don't say. Really? Failed by whom, Mr. Burnham? Who was it? Who is it that continues to insist on an open border? Who is it that goes to the Muslim community every election time demanding block votes, and in exchange for those block votes turns a blind eye to the most horrific crimes imaginable? Who is it, Mr. Burnham? Is it the Labour Party? Your party? Let me just clear that up for you. It is your party. But I notice that you didn't say that in your statement on this disgraceful issue. Look, none of this means anything. It means nothing because the police are still political. This disgusting situation is still ongoing. And to top it off, the borders are still open and we are inviting more and more of the same. These men have no regard for your safety. They have no regard for the safety of your daughters. They see them as meat for them to use and abuse. They are not Asians. That is a racial slur. They are Muslims. And this is not unique to the United Kingdom. It's happening everywhere. There are significant Muslim male populations. The same population our border remains open to. It means nothing. Until we get rid of the political class that allowed this to happen, we can expect it to keep happening. And maybe in 10 years' time, we'll have another report saying that the girls were failed. Don't put up with it. Vote for UKIP. We'll sort it out. And apply the law, regardless of who the perpetrator is and who the victim is. This is an outrage.